The justice is not a purely legal concept, but it is also political, philosophical, and moral concept. It is a medium to establish harmony according to the requirement of country, time, and conditions. Various principles in respect of justice are propounded from time to time as equalitarian theory of justice, utilitarian theory of justice, contra- contractarian theory of justice, entitlement theory of justice, principal common goods of justice. These are the details of principles of justice. One is equalitarian theory of justice. The concept of equalitarian theory of justice mainly stresses upon the thing that equal treatment should be there among the equal persons. The gist of the equalitarian theory of justice is of giving equal treatment to equal persons. When this theory is disregarded, then there are two possibilities of originating injustice. According to this theory, the injustice may arise in two ways. One is when unequal treatment is done among equal persons, and two is when equal treatment is done with unequal persons. Unequal treatment is done among equal persons and equal treatment is done with unequal persons. According to this equalitarian distributive justice of Aristotle, equal distribution in equal persons means that according to prescribed criterion of differentiation, there should be different treatment in unequal cases. According to this principle, many inequalities being existed in the social system are assumed acceptable. For example, different laws and treatment for whites and Negroes in America were assumed justifiable till mid of 20th century on the basis of principle of equality. In the case of Plessy versus Ferguson, 1982, 163 USA, 537, the arrangement of separate railway carriages for white and black persons was considered justifiable on the basis of principle of separate but equal, and this situation continued from the year 1896 to 1954. Later on in the year 1954, in the case of Brown versus Board of Education 1955, 349 USA 295. The Chief Judge Warren C.J. while declaring it unjustifiable has stated that differentiation in public institutions on the basis of apartheid can never be considered justifiable because separate can never be equal. Similarly, the system of equal law among having unequal conditions is the second problem of equalitarian theory of justice. Due to it, there are possibilities of originating inequalities. In this reference, it will be proper to mention two forms of equality. One is formatted equality and two is proportionate equality. Formatted equality requires impartiality, whereas proportionate equality requires altruism. The role of state in the formatted equality is negative, whereas in the proportionate equality it is positive, which expects such positive works in the state by which such situations meaningful to equalitarian justice may be created. In the case of Grapure versus Elias 1955, 351 USA 12012, decision of the American High Court is a good example of equalitarian justice. In this case, the famine respondent was unable to obtain copy and filing appeal due to lack of money. The Supreme Court stated that such a trial which depends upon the condition of having money cannot ensure equal justice. In the case of Douglas versus California, 1962, 372 USA 353, it has been stated by the American High Court that it is the duty of state to make available the legal aid to poor persons for the appeal. Utilitarian theory of justice. Jeremy Bentham is known as the founder of utilitarian theory of justice. This theory determines the standard of criteria of goodness and evilness. According to this principle, the public benevolence should be the base of legislative discussion. The laws should be greatest good of the greatest number. Bentham's introduction to the principles and legislation is of the view that all acts of a man are controlled by pleasure and pain, that is, happiness and trouble. It is happiness and trouble which determines that what we should do. According to the quantity of happiness and trouble, the goodness and evilness is measured. According to utilitarian theory of justice, the activities of government should be
Welcome to rock music. Bluetooth mode.
Utilitarian theory of justice, Jeremy Bentham has known as the founder of utilitarian theory of justice. This theory determines the standard of criteria of goodness and evilness. According to this principle, the public benevolence should be the base of legislative discussion. The laws should be greatest good of the greatest number. Bentham, an introduction to the principles and legislation, is of the view that all acts of a man are controlled by pleasure and pain, that is happiness and trouble. It is happiness and trouble which determines that what we should do according to the quantity of happiness and trouble, the goodness and evilness is measured. According to utilitarian theory of justice, the activities of government should be incremental in pleasure and protectoral to trouble so that the society may be in happiness. The criterion of proper and improper is the greatest good of the greatest number. To ensure the happiness of community, the lawmakers should take care of four elements. One is providing means of sustenance. Two is to generate prosperity. Three is to support equality. And four is to maintain security. The gist of the utilitarian justice is inconsequentialism. Utilitarian considers the future. It is mostly related to happiness, pleasure, goodness, welfare. Utilitarian is of two types. One is action utilitarian, two is rule utilitarian. Under the action utilitarian, appropriateness or inappropriateness of the action is assessed on the basis of results. Under the rule utilitarian, appropriateness or inappropriateness of the action is stressed. Appropriateness and inappropriateness of the action is assessed on the basis of goodness or evils or evilness, goodness or evilness of result of that rule. Bentham and Mill both have used the utilitarian theory of justice for enhancement of pleasure of community. The views of Mill in respect of justice are somehow different from Bentham. Contractarian theory of justice Rawls, a theory of justice, is considered as the promulgator of this theory. Rawls has accepted the utilitarian theory for two reasons. One is, first, the utilitarian theory does not give any importance to distinctiveness and separateness of persons. And secondly, it defined appropriateness on the basis of good, which is not proper because the element of good already exists in inappropriateness. Due to these two reasons, Rawls has interpreted the justice as impartiality on the basis of social contractarian theory of justice. The object of Rawls is to propound such concept of justice which may take it to the peak of climax by generalizing the principle of social agreement of Locke, Rousseau and Kant. It is being shared by the rule that the principles of justice are the object of preliminary agreement for basic structure of society. Rawls has presumed initial stage in the social contractarian theory of justice. This situation is of a family of peoples wherein there is a representative of every one social class. There will be veil of ignorance in front of them, hence at the last they will be agreed upon such social principles which will provide an excellent opportunity to complete plans of life of each one. Thus Raoul has thought such an imaginary situation wherein persons take a decision in respect of outside society. Two is such decisions are without bias, and three is basis of these is the decision of neutral outer persons. This is the reason that it is being said unbiased justice. The veil of ignorance is especially important in it because one is the veil of ignorance. The veil of ignorance excludes all those tendencies of knowledge which separates one person from other person, and two is the veil of ignorance represents those conditions wherein the selection of theory of justice may impartial. The theory of unbiased justice of Rawls at initial stage is a theory selected by judicious persons. For his entitlement theory of justice, Nozick, pupil of Rawls, is considered as the promulgator of this theory. Nozick was in opposition of both, that is, utilitarian theory of Bentham and social agreement, unbiased justice of Rawls. It is to say by Nozick that why we should accept the contract play. Rawls has not given a proper place to the speciality of a person in his theory. This is the reason that Nozick has propounded the entitlement theory of justice based on the individualism. This principle is based on this concept that the person under himself has exclusive right, not in other person. This theory is related to one is freedom and two is property. The right to property is a result of labor concerned freedom. The entitlement theory of justice is based on importance of separate existence of a person. According to Nozick, the freedom and equality are not eligible to consistency, and interference in distribution of resources in the society is not possible without interfering freedom of the persons. Nozick is of the view that the state is actually immoral. Nozick, while accepting condensed work of state had presented a proposal of minimal state. Mainly the following works will be of minimal state. One is as a night watchman. One is strength, two is theft, and three is protection from fraud. Two is enforcement of contracts, and three is other necessary works of such type. This is dominant notion of logic that a person who has whatever earned in just manner should be entitled to keep it with him. Logic is of the view that if the ownership of every person is justified, then then whole distribution system of ownerships will be justified. The theory of justice of logic is based on the following three principles. One is principle of earning. This principle determines that circumstances in which the person is complete to earn ownership of earlier non-ownership resources. Two is principle of transfer. This principle determines those manners by which the ownership of resources can be transferred amongst the persons. Three is principle of reforms. This principle determines that how the earning and transfer of property by improper way can be improved. According to logic, the justice resumes entitlement. Later on, the theory of logic was criticized, and while interpreting the justice by taking the base of tactic, the principle of general good was propounded by John Finnish. Principle of common good of justice. The principle of common good of justice has been propounded by John Finnish, Natural Law and Natural Rights. The concept of justice of John Finnish is of good of others and not of individual freedom. His practical tactic not being based on desire, is based on material, not being based on moral values. It is related to those things which makes life meaningful. It is related with those qualities which are desirable to activities and manners of life. Finnish has presented the list of 7 absolute materials: life, knowledge, games, sensibility for beauty, friendship and sociality, religion, and practical responsibility. These all materials have equal importance. These are the basics of practical tactic, which are the grounds of theory of justice. Finnish had developed the utilitarian theory. The utilitarian theory begins with good and welfare. There, the good has been responded in the principle of Finnish, and it is not only good but other many materials are included. According to Finnish, the general good requires cooperation and harmony in conduct. Due to requirement of enhancement of collective good, the concept of justice of Finnish is too flexible and pluralistic. According to Finnish, only the thought of requirement is not adequate for distribution or equal distribution But the following is also important. One is consideration of quality, two is role of person, three is active requirement of capacity, four is higher eligibility of persons eligible for taking benefits, etc. While taking into consideration all the above, the common good can be fulfilled. From the analysis of all the above principles, it is reflected that just is an object. To obtain that, efforts are being made from various mediums. At the present time, the concept of social justice is becoming strong. Let's explain the concept of law-based justice and justice without law. Let's give merits and demerits of both. The concept of law-based justice and justice without law. Justice is essential for long-time peace arrangements in the legal system or legal governance. Peace and order cannot be maintained in the society without justice. The question is this as to how the justice can be obtained, whether the law is necessary for getting justice or the justice can be obtained without law. Justice without law. Justice without law means such justice which is not based on law but based on independent will power of person providing justice. Plato had mentioned such justice, that is, justice without law. Plato, the Republic, while considering the state without law, at best has accepted the law governance as a second excellent option. The thinkers of free law ideology have accepted special role of justice and equality in the judicial process while stressing upon internal soul and sensual element of the judge. The thinkers of free law, while not supporting of infidelity in respect of constitutional law, resolve of justice on the basis of the concept of prevailing justice in absence of affirmative law or the judge's self-legal internal soul. Poland or jurisprudence had mentioned justice according to law along with the justice without law. According to him, the state can provide the justice according to will of the persons through tribunals. According to Salmond, principles of jurisprudence completely lawless tribunal can probably be assumed, but in the law system it has been opposed. According to Markoby, elements of law, completely lawless tribunal can probably be assumed, but in the law system it has not been opposed. According to Poland, in the existing judicial justice, 5 stages of justice without law are observed. One is discretionary powers. Discretionary powers is such as an individual discretion different from the judicial discretion which in certain cases expects justice according to self-conscience by the authority. The discretionary power has main role in the appointment of receiver or custodian. B is natural justice. The concept of natural justice has been accepted in the form of ideal justice. The justice based on natural justice is expected in the French civil board in absence of rules. Decisions of it are more reasonable instead of individual discretion. Equity and good conscience. Use of equity and good conscience was done by the Chancery Court to provide justice on the basis of internal soul and good conscience. Individual equity, relaxation in legislative rules was allowed in the cases of to hardship on the basis of sensation of individual or personal equity. Equitable application of legal principles. Equitable application of legal principles was also done in law or just decision. Many benefits of justice without law have been mentioned by Poland as one is this justice being based on good conscience of the magistrate. This justice being based on good conscience of the magistrate is more near to the sensation of morality of the community, and two is if mercy is assumed a part of the justice, then it can be made applicable more successfully without law. Justice according to law. Justice according to law means such authorized. One is sermons, two is standards, three is instruction, which are developed and made applicable by the authorized technique. These may be determined by the persons prior to the disputes, and equal treatment with all is possible or short by them. Its mean is to objective, equal and certain justice administration in application of rules in general way. According to Salmon, law are those principles which are made applicable by the state in just administration. In reference to justice according to law, Poland has interpreted the law in the form of one is precept and two is technique, three is ideals. The law is a group in the background of authorized ideals or the authorized precepts developed and made applicable by the authorized technique. The following are the benefits of justice according to law. Presupposition of justice decision making becomes possible in the just administration by the law. The law provides protection against the errors of personal decisions. The law rescues from the improper intentions of the person doing just administration. The law provides criterion to the judge dedicated with moral views of community. The law provides to the magistrate full benefit of experience of his predecessor. The law is more clear and immediate effective. The following demerits of justice according to law are mentioned by Poland. One is technicality of the law may oversee the requirement of actual sensation and justice. Two is as per expectation of the existing welfare state, the justice based on law may be incomplete and unacceptable. The law originates certain ethical thoughts. In immediately period, it cannot be fully consistent with the more developed concept of present. The law originates furthermore laws, and the developed system makes efforts for such rules which are not practicable and violates the scope of justice without law. Many problems may arise by strict compliance of law, and the possibilities of injustice in place of justice explored. In this way, the justice without law and the justice according to law, both the systems are in existence. Both have their own merits and demerits. Concept of the social justice is the basis of Constitution of India. Let's confirm this statement. The social justice which had been presumed in the preamble of Constitution and its Article 38, that is linked with meaningful right to live with human dignity. The social justice is an action application of making available an opportunity for living life with human dignity to every person and to allay the sorrow and pain of weaker section of the society. It is not a general idea, but a mysterious concept of eradicating problems of Dalit and exploited section. The social justice is an important part of our judicial process. The social justice is a meaningful assumption of obtaining that object which provides guarantee of social, economic and political equality. Abolition of class differentiations in the rule of law is a result of social justice. In the preamble of Constitution, social, economic and political justice has been summoned. The famous jurist Harold Lasky had stated that a person who understands the agony of poor man, he will feel it that the right to freedom is null and void without economic security. It was often said by the father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, that every person should get work, he should eat of his own labor. A meaningful life should be lived by him by getting minimum requirements of bread, cloth and house. To provide real form of this assumption of social justice, the judicature played an important role in the years from independence to today. The judicature has provided a new direction to the concept of social justice by making important judicial decisions in the matters from interest of number of persons living in Jhuggi Jhopdi and footpath to returning of beauty of Taj Mahal. The decisions linked with transparency of governance and administration is also the integral part of social justice. Rights of persons living in Jhuggi Jhopdi. It is vitriolic truth that number of persons of our country completes their life period on footpaths, Jhuggi Jhopdis and slums. They are neither having clothes to cover the body nor bread to eat. Here to say that the right to life and personal liberty has been provided in our constitution to every person, but in such circumstances this right is meaningful and slip slop for such person. Mumbai is the biggest individual city of our security, our country. Person from every corner of country. Mumbai is the biggest industrial city of our country. Person from every corner of country come here in search of sustenance, which persons live on footpath or in slums. They pass their golden period of life in the slums of city. Slums are such where the dogs are in search of meat and the cats are watching for hunt of rats. Within the dirty place, they cook their meal. Young girls are to take bath in open space. This is life of these persons, and if the government becomes hard to deprive of even such life, then there is only one support of the court. This was happened in Mumbai in the year 1981 when the then government organized a plan to demolish these Jhuggi Jhopdis. Then this poor section approached to the court. In the case of Olga Talis versus Municipal Corporation, AIR 1986 SC 180, it has been stated by the Supreme Court that prior to removing these persons from such places, alternate arrangement of accommodation should be made. In rainy season, they should not forced to leave. This decision of the Supreme Court supported those numbers of persons who were engaged in establishment of big houses, skyscrapers and factories, whose sacrifice and dedication is there in the base of development of Mumbai. Similarly, one more case is of state of Maharashtra versus Alika B. Hingde, AIR 1998, SC 2342. In this case, the orders were passed by the Bombay High Court for removing Jhuggi Jhopdis within few hours. By considering it inhuman, the Supreme Court stated that an adequate time should be given to remove Jhuggi Jhopdis and to the person residing in them for alternate arrangements. Livelihood on footpath. Under Article 19G of the Constitution, right to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade or business has been provided to every citizen. Any person can earn his livelihood on footpath. He cannot be deprived from this right merely saying that the footpath can only be used for coming and going. Delhi is the capital of country and a metro city. Most of the population of that city pass nights at footpath and also earn their livelihood on footpath. If they will be deprived of this, then there will be no use of Article 19G of the Constitution for them. Something like this happened in Delhi when the plan for removal of the persons treading on footpath were designed. Then the matter was placed before the Supreme Court. In case of Sodan Singh versus New Delhi Municipal Committee, AIR 1986, SC 1988, with true sensitiveness it has been stated by the Supreme Court that under Article 19G of the Constitution, right to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade or business has been provided to every citizen. Every person has right to earn his livelihood. Nobody can be deprived of from this right without any reason. If a person is doing business at footpath or earning his livelihood from ferry, even then he cannot be deprived of from this right. Actually, this poor section of the society is a personage of more sympathy. In the case of Asian Circus versus State of Bihar, AIR 2001, Patna 156, while considering the circus as a source of livelihood, it has been stated by the Patna High Court that it is also a part of the article of the Constitution. There is no necessity of obtaining permission of government administration for it. It is only necessary that prior to beginning the circus, intimation may be given to the administration to so that the law and order could be maintained. First of all, medical facilities and thereafter fulfillment of legal formalities. Security of human life is most important. In case of end of human life, it cannot be brought back in previous condition. Hence, it is the duty of every medical attendant that whenever a patient or injured person comes before him, the medical attendance and treatment be made available to him without any delay, and the legal formalities may be fulfilled later on. The case of Permanent Katara versus Union of India, AIR 1989, SC 2039 is also of same nature. In this case, a person, scooter driver, met with an accident with the car. Immediately he was brought to the hospital, but the medical attendant denied for treatment with the saying that First of all, while making entry of first information report in police station, all legal formalities be completed. The Supreme Court, while considering it improper, has stated that it is the duty of medical attendants that they should not show any carelessness for saving the human life and ignoring the legal formalities. Immediately make available the medical attendance and treatment. Humanitarian conditions of Nari Niketan. The conditions of Nari Niketan in Bihar were very poor. In the case of Vikram Dev Singh Tomar versus State of Bihar, AIR 1988 SC 1782, while detailing the conditions of this Nari Niketan, it has been said that the building is in very bad condition. Water leaks from the roof. There are no windows in the rooms. Women are sleeping in veranda. Adequate bunks and blankets are not available. Most of the women pass night on damaged floor. Soap and oil are not available. There are no bathrooms. Water has to carry from hand pumps. Lavatories are situated as per distance. Only rupees 5 per woman are being expended in the name of meal. The Supreme Court, while expressing its deep sorrow, ordered the government of Bihar for required improvements. Child welfare should be foremost. There is a case of Sheila Barse versus Secretary Children and Society 1987 3 SCC 50 related to inhuman treatment with the children. There is an institute, namely Children and Society in the Bombay, under which remand home and surveillance home are running. Children who are destitute and having criminal tendency are being kept in them. They are forced to work. They are forced to work in private institution. No remuneration is paid to these children. It is the violation of constitutional arrangements and injustice with child generation. The Supreme Court, while considering seriously all these matters, showed its sympathy for children and stated that today's children are builder of future India. They may be developed in such a manner so that in future they may be like a tree. So many guidelines were issued by the Supreme Court for welfare of children. The prisoners are also entitled for humanitarian treatment, and inhuman treatment with the prisoners and captives in prisoners is not a new thing. The prisoners and captives are being kept for 24 hours in handcuffs. Torture and punishment are being given them to in prison. When this matter was placed before the Supreme Court, then in the case of Sunil Batra versus Delhi Administration Area 1928 SC, then the Judge Krishna Iyer of the Supreme Court stated that mercy has an important place in the jail administration. The jail authorities should have a sense of tenderness for the prisoners. Humanitarian treatment should be given to them. Equal pay for equal work, the guarantee for equality before the law or the equal protection of the laws has been provided to every person under the Article 14 of Constitution. Equality of opportunity in matters of public employment to all citizens has been provided under Article 16. Article 39D provides for equal pay for equal work for the women and men. Even then, when there was created discrimination in respect of salary or remuneration, the matter was challenged, and in the case of Uttarakhand Women Welfare Council versus the State of Uttar Pradesh, AIR 1992 SC 1965, it has been stated by the Supreme Court that a discrimination in payment of salary to male and female teachers for equal work is not justifiable. Payment of equal pay for equal work to men and women is a constitutional requirement. In the case of Haryana State Electricity Board versus Gulshan Lal AIR 2009 SC 3139, it has been held by the Supreme Court that if the eligibility, experience, etc. are equal, then payment of equal pay for equal work to men and women is a constitutional provision. Respectful funeral. Due respect is being given to a person even after his death in our society and our culture. In the case of Shelter Rights Campaign versus Union of India AR 2002 SC 554, it has been stated by the Supreme Court that on hairless deaths of destitute Hearless death of destitute persons, their funeral should be performed in a respectful manner and according to their rituals. Rehabilitation of begars. In the case of Abhipriya Welfare Society versus Government of Andhra Pradesh, AIR 2001, Andhra Pradesh 273. The Andhra Pradesh High Court has shown its sympathy for the beggar. It is to say, be the High Court that although there is a serious problem of beggars in the country, but it is the liability of the government that arrangements of their rehabilitation be made. Free legal aid. Article 39 of the Constitution guarantees every citizen for equal opportunity of justice. Its object is that no person should be deprived of justice merely on the reasons of poorness. This is the reason that provisions of free legal aid are made in our constitution and laws. In the case of M.H. Hoskart versus the state of Maharashtra, 1978-3 SCC, it has been stated by the Supreme Court that to make available free legal aid to poor person is the duty of state and not a compensation. In the case of Dilawar Singh versus the state of Delhi AIR 2007 SC 3234, it has been determined by the Supreme Court that where there is no advocate of the accused in criminal trial, then arrangements of amicus curiae should be made by the court. In the case of Muhammad Hussain alias Julfikar Khali versus the state AR 2012 SC 750, it has been held by the Supreme Court that without making available the services of advocate for the defense to an accused having serious allegation, giving the punishment of death sentence is a violation of procedure prescribed by the law. To make available free legal aid to such accused is the duty of state. Speedy trial. In the changed scenario, speedy trial has also been considered the fundamental right of person. Unnecessary and excessive delay in trial is harmful. In the case of Rajendra Singh versus Prem, AIR 2007 SC 3057, it has been stated by the Supreme Court that due to excessive delay in the trial of cases, there is decrease in belief of the person for judicature, speedy trial and finalization of the cases is necessary of time. The officer should take steps for speedy trial. In the case of Nahar Singh Yadav versus Union of India, AR 2011 SC 1549, it has been held that due to a criminal trial, the person not only loses his personal freedom but loses life also. Hence, the trial should be independent, impartial, and speedy. Hence, the trial should be independent, impartial and speedy. In the case of State of Kerala versus Ranif AIR 2011 SC 340, it has been propounded by the Supreme Court that the speedy trial is fundamental right of the person. During the consideration of application for bail, the delay in trial should be taken care of. In the case of Imtiaz Ahmad versus the State of Uttar Pradesh AIR 2012 SC 642, it has been stated by the Supreme Court that long delay in delivery of justice violates rule of law. It has adverse impact on common man's access to justice. Abolition of bonded labor and exploitation of laborers is continuing from the ancient time. Today, so many male, female and child labor is suffered of bonded labor. In the case of Neeraj Chaudhary versus State of Madhya Pradesh, AIR 1984 SC 1099, it has been stated by the Supreme Court that today to search out bonded laborers and merely to get rid of them from bonded labor is not adequate, but more requirement is to rehabilitate them so that they may not become again the bonded laborers. There are so many other judicial decisions which have increased the social justice. In the case of Air India versus Nargesh Mirza AIR 1981 SC 1829, the rules made by Air India were assumed unjustifiable and discriminatory, wherein the provision was that on attaining the age of 35 years or in event of marriage on being pregnant within 4 years of the service, the air hostess will be retired from the service. It was also considered an insult of women. In the case of Attorney General of India versus Lema Devi AIR 1986 SC 497, an order of publicly execution of death sentence was considered inhuman and against human dignity. In the case of CESC Limited versus Subhash Chandra Bose 1992 SCC 441, while considering the social justice as fundamental right, the following have been taken as a part of social justice. One is safety of health of workmen. Safety of health of workmen, social security and healthy environment. In the case of Shrimati and Rathi versus the Union of India, AIR 1998 Allahabad 331, it has been considered a liability of the state government by the Allahabad High Court that the state should make arrangements of schools, professional training centers, hostels and medical facilities separately for lepers. In the case of Law Society of India versus Fertilizers and Chemicals, Tranacor Limited AIR 1994 Kerala 308, it has been held by the Kerala High Court that right to life includes good health and right to fair environment for living. In the case of Vishakha versus the State of Rajasthan AIR 1997 SC 3011, many guidelines are issued by the Supreme Court for eradication of sexual harassment of working women. In the case of Ashok Kumar Todhi versus Fisher Johanan AIR 1997 SC 1254, it has been propounded by the Supreme Court that every adult person has fundamental right to marry with a boy or a girl of his liking and caste. Unnecessary interference cannot be done by the police administration in their married life. In this way, the social justice is an ideal of the Indian Constitution. The judicature, while nurturing the concept of social justice, made it active. This is the developed form of our judicature. Dear friends, tomorrow we will explain the nature of judicial process. Mainly there are two elements of judicial process. One is judicial pleadings and two is judicial decision making. We will discuss it tomorrow. Thank you, all my brothers and sisters, ladies, gentlemen, students, scholar, teacher, trainer, professor, professional, officer, official, listener, learner. The most honorable President Professor Modi ji. I thank my respected doctors and directors. I thank my adorable minister and manager. I thank my honorable advocates, advertiser, administrator and advisor. Thank you very much. Nice to see all of you. Thank you.